Hello, and welcome to Do Something, the show where we make something cool from stuff you find around the house. Here is episode 2. We're going to make a mini wrestling game. Now, we have pretty simple wrestlers. I made them out of colored paper and glued them to cardboard, put a paper clip at the bottom to add some weight, and you play the game by dropping them, and depending on who lands face up or face down, you get points. So, what we need is cardboard, glue, paper, scissors, a marker, and a paper clip. And if you have an action figure for tracing, if you don't feel like drawing, that's the best way to do it. So I have my cardboard here, and I cut it to the same size as the colored paper I'm going to use. So start off by tracing the Silver Surfer that I had from when I was a kid. It helps you get a nice muscly guy without having to draw it out of your head or draw from a picture. Now here, I'm going to trace around my guy and make sure that when I cut it, I have a duplicate. So I double up the paper, and then I just cut around it. Now you can draw on top of it, and you don't have to add any colored paper or extra bells and whistles, but I decided to because I thought it would be extra fun just to have a cool, special looking character that I put some extra time into. That can be worth it. Because if you put in the extra time, you feel attached to a thing. It makes it a little bit more fun. And then when you show it to somebody, they can tell how much time you put into it, how much time you engaged with this thing you made. And that makes it feel special, and you can feel proud of what you did. All right, so here I have two. So you can put one on the back of your cardboard, or you can just use it like I do as a template. So I trace around it to get my mask shape. I just traced around the head, and here I'm going to cut it out, and I rotate the paper as I go. And then for the inside part, for where the mouth is going to show, I just cut another half circle. And then when I lay it out, you'll see. So there it goes. Matches his head. I use the other one as a template to help me make the right size of belt. I think I make it pretty close, but then I have to cut a little bit off of it. Here I'm going to make some boot cuffs, I think. And then I'm going to use this sparkly envelope that I got in the mail for the boots and for any part that I want to stand out. Like a special fabric almost. And sometimes you can find scraps around the house that have that cool quality. Now make sure you ask your parents or your roommates or whoever if it's special. You never know. But in this case, these are like old credit card offers or whatever, and I just thought, that's pretty cool. I'll hold on to that for some cool project later. So here I'm going to make the armbands just to add some extra, I think. Yeah, maybe or boot cuffs, I don't remember. I'm trying to put him together before I glue anything down just to test it. It's almost like sketching with cut paper. You want to make sure you take a little time and figure out what is going to look best before you glue anything down. Here I'm making the armbands. I made the boot cuffs first. And I use my little template to help me sometimes. And here I'm going to make a mask out of that sparkly paper again, that envelope. So what I do is I cut out a piece big enough to go across the face, and I fold it in half. And then what I'm going to do is cut around it, but I'm not going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut so that there's some connecting material between the two halves. And that way I can get a nice symmetrical mask, so it's the same on both sides. And that way it looks nice and even. It feels like it's made as part of an outfit, and you're not trying to glue two separate pieces together and make it match up. It just helps add some more professional, solid-looking quality to anything you make if you want it to look even. So I'm laying out all my stuff. I'm going to make a little belt buckle next, I think. I decided to make like a half moon shape because my other wrestler had a star, and I just like having these little iconic things that make them feel like their own unique character. So I also ended up cutting two little triangles for the eyeballs. But they were too small, and I'll show you a picture of that later. It didn't make sense to show you cutting them. So I made some underwear for him, and he's going to be ready to go here, and then the next step will be just gluing everything in place. Now here's those two little triangles I cut for his eyes. They were so small that it didn't make sense to show me cutting them. Once I glued everything down, here I'm going to draw and outline my character, and I'm using a Sharpie, but if you have a regular Crayola marker, that'll do. A pen probably do the job, but I just like the nice big black lines that show up that help make them pop out. So I'm going to trace around the legs or any part that looks like it doesn't have a lot of contrast. Add some lines for the arms, and then I'm going to add some muscles. So I'm going to go here and draw his face. I'll put a little shadow under his chin. For the mouth, I make a circle, put some lines in there for teeth, put some little eyeballs in. Trying to think like my friend Jess Smart Smiley, who's a great cartoonist. You can follow him on Instagram. And here I'm just going to go around, finish tracing the rest of it. Draw out the arms, the shoulders, put a little curly Q in the hand to make it look like he's making a fist. For the muscles on the stomach, I just did an upside down U with a plus sign in the middle. Trace under the mask so there's a little shadow there. And he's almost ready to go. And do the hands. You can do whatever you want. You can add all kinds of cool ideas and details. So now we're at the point where we make our wrestlers face off. So each time we do it, there's going to be a little point system. And here I'll lay it out for you. Do 3 matches total. And each round, you want to total the points. So if they both land face up, they each get a point. If they land face down, no points. And if one lands face up and one lands face down, you can get it from there. So green is the champ, and thanks for joining me today.